get this big court dressing and we got speakers and knives and cutting boards and bowls and the entire salad all jammed, look at here, in this backpack. How can we fit more?
More?
It can happen. Check it out, you guys, watch this. We're gonna slip it in. It's gonna go sideways. That's all right. It's gonna be just fine. Just like that.
So tell me, sir, why are we doing this? What's going on?
Because we're crazy.
Crazy?
Yeah, some would call us really crazy.
We
people.
are crazy, yes.
The reason they'd call us crazy is because we're bringing bowls and forks and these big, huge salads with us everywhere we go, like a bunch of crazy people.
Crazy people, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind being crazy with you.
So that's not why we're doing it, because
No.
we're crazy, but we are crazy.
We are. But why are we doing it?
well-
Why are we carrying this bag?
Because today we're going to share a story up on the hillside. We're going to have dinner up there.
Yes, and we're going to share a story about what?
We're going to share a story of how we got together.
You guys excited?
How it all happened.
How it all happened.
How did this happen? So tell me, miss,
Yes.
what are you doing?
Oh, first I have to put my hair up in a ponytail
Why?
because I'm going to put on my helmet.
Oh, you're going to put on a head mitt on your head?
Head mitt, yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Are we going to be playing on that little machine back there?
Yes, we are.
Oh my god, this is
We're going to go into the top of a mountain.
The top?
The top.
The tippy top?
Tippy top. Okay, so this is what we carried up here, and it's pretty heavy, but we got our water, we got our blanket.
Yeah, got it all.
Okay, look at what we brought.
Oh my gosh. Look at all this. This is the full meal deal.
I know.
Sprouts, tomatoes,
Yeah, look, sprouts.
bell peppers.
So your mom made the top ones.
Oh, these were the sprouted
Those
in
are the
the
ones
jar.
your mom made, yeah.
Jar sprouted, yeah.
We've got tomatoes and more tomatoes, because you know.
Gotta
how I
have
am
tomatoes,
with
right, guys?
And then this bag, I kind of chopped up little ingredients, and we reuse the bags. We just rinse them out and
just
let
rinse
them
them out.
dry. So if anyone's wondering.
Several times. Yeah.
Yeah, these ones were used, I believe.
Yeah, after they get funky, of course.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
then you recycle them. But
half a dozen.
we've got cilantro, green onions, and red peppers in here, and spring mix and romaine.
Ooh.
So we're gonna make
Booyah.
gigantic salads.
Now, I think we'll have to show you guys this view. Amazing, amazing spot up here.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
It's just incredible. Thank you
Incredible.
for bringing me up here.
You're welcome.
So amazing.
Well, let's go make up some of these delicious salads.
Yes, for sure. So this is how we do it. I know a lot of people have asked to see videos of us actually making the salads. So I showed you everything we had, so I'm just gonna make them super quick. And we're outside, so if there's stuff that falls, no big deal.
Yeah, we're on the top of a mountain. The sunset is kind of fading a little bit, but it is super beautiful out. The lettuce is in the bowl.
The lettuce is in the bowl. And we'll add the cherry tomatoes. We'll do some yellow ones. Yellow for you, yellow for me.
Straight out of the package into the
Don't
bowl.
even need to cut them. You can
Straight
just
out
eat
of
them
the
like that.
package into the bowl.
And then we have all these awesome ingredients, these other awesome ingredients. We've got a little bit of red pepper. You just smell, this bag smells so good. Because there's green onions in it.
Oh yeah.
And cilantro. So we'll just sprinkle that on here. Oh yeah, look at that. Of course, always make enough for 2.
Yes.
Oh yeah, can you smell that?
Oh my gosh. You kidding me? We brought this up in a backpack
Yep,
on the quad.
on the quad. We're hardcore. And then, finishing touch, we have some sprouts that your mama made.
Sprouts make it for sure.
Let's put that on top. We have to eat all of these.
Yep.
So let's put them all in there.
Exactly. We want them all.
Want them all.
We want them all.
And there we go. Our salads are finished. See how simple that was? How long is that video?
4 minutes and 20 seconds.
See how quick it is to make a salad? Yes, everything was prepped beforehand, but the dressing only took maybe a minute to make because I just threw everything in the blender and blended it up. And then I chopped the romaine, I chopped the red pepper, and I grabbed 2 containers of tomatoes and the bag of sprouts. So really, 10 minutes to make
Done.
these salads. Yeah.
2 salads, 5 minutes a pop. In this beautiful setting.
Yeah.
Let's eat.
Let's eat, my love. My love, my love, my love.
Okay, we ready?
Okay. Okay.
What's up, guys?
Okay, okay.
I love it.
You're just making me laugh. Oh. Okay.
Oh, well. She's a pro.
I know. I have to compose myself.
I love
Hey friends, Lissa here for an extremely special video. What are we talking about today?
Well, today, guys, we wanted to share our story of how we got together.
Yeah, and you guys have been asking for this for months, since February.
Yeah.
So we wanted to finally share the story with you guys. We wanted it to be special, so we rode up here and it's, you know, the sun's setting.
It's beautiful out.
It's beautiful out. And
You made a beautiful picnic dinner.
Thank you.
Yeah, we rallied the quad up top of this mountainside.
Yeah, so we wanted it to be special,
It's a
kind of
good
like
little spot.
a date for us.
Sure.
In a
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So
With all of you guys too.
with all of you guys too. So we wanted to share our story. Now, probably around 2004 was when both of us started to wake up. Like wake up as in, you know, find out about veganism and some conspiracy theories and stuff, and really like waking up to natural health.
Yeah.
And what are you doing?
I'm just looking at you. She's gorgeous, you guys. Like, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I can't look at her.
Okay, so in 2004, we both started to wake up.
Right.
And then for probably around 10 years, because I didn't go raw until 2014. I tried raw for the decade that I knew about it,
Right.
but it never really stuck until 2014 when I became raw. And I've been raw almost now 4 years.
Gotcha.
So I became raw, and a year after being raw, I released my first book, The 30-Day Meal Plan. And I was just going about my own life. Meanwhile...
Yeah, meanwhile, say, you know, fast forward, not 2004, but 2014, my mom was diagnosed.
year.
Yeah, right. 2014, when you went raw, my mom was diagnosed with her second bout of kidney cancer. And that kind of like really woke me up to like, oh my gosh, Mom, this is your second time of kidney cancer. First time you had it removed. Now what are we going to do? Like, can we heal this naturally? We should try to heal this naturally. She started to really wake up. Her being a cardiac nurse, a retired cardiac nurse, she knew her stuff. And I turned her on to a movie or a documentary, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. And she watched that, and that changed her life. She was on the trail to try to heal herself. Meanwhile, I hurt myself eating just standard American, you know, like I didn't hurt myself eating standard American necessarily on the outside, inside definitely, but I fell, broke my ankle and my wrist, and so that really kind of stopped and made me look at my life differently, like, oh my gosh, like I can't walk for 4 months. Like it was 4 months non-weight bearing, the way that I broke the talus bone, you know. So
you did a lot of researching.
And watching my mom heal herself at this time period. I'm thinking like, oh my gosh. And then that's when my son, my youngest son, Jacob, who went raw, not raw, but vegan, because of my mom leading a vegan lifestyle and healing herself. Like she actually healed herself. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've seen family members pass away from different, you know, ailments, and I should be raw too. My son's vegan. I'm vegan with him. And that's when I, you know, started to really research different YouTubers and how I could, you know, live a raw food lifestyle that was kind of fun, like shaped and, you know, tailored a little different than the way my mom was, you know, living her raw food lifestyle.
Yeah, because she had to be a little bit more on the extreme end because she was dealing with cancer. You just wanted to
I wanted
cleaner.
to be healthier. Yeah. I don't have, you know, life-threatening diseases at this point in time. You know, I'm thinking eventually I will be. I'm looking at myself. I'm like, eventually I'm going to be. So I started to find different people. I found you on YouTube, and I found Jack from Raw Tropical Living, and I found a few other people.
Dan the Man,
you know, and Dan the Man, I was actually watching him back in 2012, so I was a little awakened to it, but it wasn't until 2012 that I was really awakened to veganism on that scale. And so anyhow, your book, the 30-day meal plan, with your story, like, was really amazing, right, you guys? I mean, like, amazing. I just was captivated by really your presence on your YouTube, on film, you know, and what you were all about. And so I knew I needed to become raw, and I actually ended up having 3 coworkers go raw with me.
Yeah, you bought my book.
I bought your book.
You got them to go raw.
30-day meal plan, you guys. I use it to this very day. It's a super awesome book. Just a great meal plan, you know, a grocery shopping list, like everything you need. So we went raw, for, you know, I wanted to do at least 30 days.
Yeah.
And so they did 30 days with me, but it was really like, I didn't want to stop. I knew I needed to stick on with it.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I'm watching Jack, you know, and I'm
Yeah,
watching
and you're watching me, and I went to Costa Rica to visit Jack for a week, and you watched all those videos of us together doing stuff and having fun. And the whole time that I was down there, I was like, dude, we gotta go to Woodstock.
Yeah.
And I pumped him up enough that he actually bought a ticket and went.
He went.
But I couldn't go because I had to photograph a wedding, and I didn't want to risk not being able to get home in time, so I decided I wasn't going to go.
Yeah.
So Jack went, right?
And so I went with my mom because we wanted to go for like a couple years, and my mom was like, I'm going. And I'm like, no way. All right, well, if you're going, like, I'm getting my tickets. I got to go too.
Yeah.
So, and I knew that Jack was going because he shared it on his Instagram story. And so I didn't really follow too many other people that were going to be there. And I knew it was just going to be amazing, but I was most excited to meet Jack there. He was the only person out of the thousands of people, or whatever, hundreds of people, that were there that I wanted to meet. So.
Yeah. And then you met.
And then I met him at Woodstock, and it's kind of funny, you guys, like how the scene played out. Like we watched this documentary, which is a powerful documentary. You guys got to check it out. It's called The Raw Documentary. And I think it's Jeanette and Alan. She healed herself of cancer and eating a raw food diet, running a marathon every single day for over a year. Like, I think it was one day over a year, but still broke world records in Vibram 5-fingered toed shoes. That's pretty powerful stuff. So I was going to run with them the next morning. This is like a little offshoot, right, of meeting Jack, but I was so excited to run with them in the morning. Big crew of people. And it just so happened that I saw Jack, and it was like, if I go to see Jack at this moment, which it was hard to connect with him because he had so much going on, and you know, he kind of wanted to decompress throughout the day too, because it's a lot of activity.
It's a lot to soak in.
It's a lot to soak in, and you're having a lot of good conversations. And so anyways, I introduced myself to him. I missed that run, and I told him, I'm missing this run, and this is super powerful for me, but I I feel like I need to be here with you at this moment, you know. And we talked for 4 hours sitting there on the grass. And then we had lunch together. And I told him my story. I had lost, you know, over 60 pounds using Lissa's raw food book, Raw Food Romance. And that was another thing that captivated me about your book, was it's the raw food romance. It's the connection with your food that we don't have anymore. We don't have a connection with our food. Like, we just order, it's paper sack, or it's made for you. You're not like creating. And so when I went to Woodstock, let's see, I think it was about August, so it was March, April, May, June, July, August. It was my 6th month of being raw when I was there. So that's basically 10 pounds, almost 10 pounds a month dropping. Yep.
Just falling off.
And I wasn't exercising. I would do a little rebounding and I'd take my dog for a walk. You know, I did not jog regularly. Maybe a couple jogs in there, but it was amazing, the transformation. So I shared my story with Jack sitting there.
Jack is like messaging me and he's like, I just met this super cool dude who followed your meal plan. And Jack really, like, we would talk all the time in Costa Rica about social media and, you know, YouTubing and all that kind of stuff. Like, it was really cool. So he's always thinking ahead, you know. So he's like, Lissa, you gotta interview him. You gotta interview him. So Nate messaged me.
Yeah, he was saying that while we're sitting there. He's like, I'm gonna message her right now. She needs to like interview you.
He did message me when
he's all, this is an amazing story, and I'm like, it's a great testimonial for a book, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that'd be so amazing. Like, you know, he's all, she needs to interview you, and I'm like, I would love this. This is out of this world. Are you kidding me? Like, this super total raw vegan babe who like is like a mentor, a guru of mine, you know. It's like kind of throttling me. So anyways, I get back home and I was just super excited from being at the Woodstock, and so I just reached out and direct messaged you, and I showed you my pictures, my before and after pictures, and told you my story and just how much I loved you and how much you like saved my life. You know, because it wasn't enough for my mom, you know, to heal herself. It's funny how it works. Like, it's not maybe our direct, you know, relative or close family that wakes us up. It may be a close friend or some kind of a scenario that wakes you up. And for me, you know, it was getting your book and having the coworkers go with me, because then it was my responsibility somewhat, because I took the responsibility to create the food. They had no idea about the stuff, and I'd been kind of researching.
Made it for them,
Yep, and so they would pitch in, and I would make them breakfast and lunch, snacks, and try to keep them on point for dinner, because I didn't see them at dinner. But I knew what I wanted. But it really helped me, you know, get on point. So either way, I came back,
so you
messaged you.
Me,
Yep.
And then I was going through and I'm like, okay, well, I asked when could we do it, right? Because I set up interviews and I do coaching, so I was treating it like, you know,
sure.
We got to plan this.
Legit interview, sure.
Of course. And so you told me that you could only do Fridays during the day, which was what I could do. So I was looking through my schedule and I wasn't available until October 6th to do the interview. So we scheduled it in and we didn't talk at all until then. And then the day of, I messaged him and I said, we're still on for the interview? And you're like,
Actually, I remember saying, like, being super excited for this interview. Like, you guys, this is intense, right? Like, I'm getting interviewed by Lissa. And I, you know, be on YouTube. I'm gonna be on YouTube, oh my gosh, you know? So, like, I was, like, saying to her how stoked I was, and she's like, okay, I'll call you. And I'm like, you better, because I'm just gonna be chilling here, like, twiddling my thumbs, rocking back and forth, blowing snot bubbles, saying, she's gonna call. You were laughing.
Yeah, totally.
And I was, you know, you were just saying, like, you couldn't wait, like, this interview is gonna be so much fun. So right there, I was like, this is going to be a super cool interview.
It was a super cool interview, because then October 6th, we got on our call, and
it took a minute to
get the connection going.
Right.
You went to the park with Koba.
I was in the backyard.
Yeah, you're in the backyard.
And then finally we get the connection, and so we'd already been, you know, kind of like messing around trying to get this connection
back
going.
And forth calling each other.
And so that's when the interview started. And I don't know if you guys have seen the interview on YouTube.
You can see it right here. Right here.
So you can check out that interview.
Yeah.
That was our first interview.
That was the first time we ever talked in
Yep.
person.
Yeah, we ever spoke in person, like, face to face. And then after that interview, we didn't, Skype call. We just texted through direct message. And we were direct messaging until 3 in the morning. First night.
Yeah, we just became instant friends.
Just, those people. Like, sometimes you just connect on this level that's just amazing and deep, and you just keep wanting to dive further and further off into just, you just trail off into different topics. We're both talkers.
Yeah, we're both talkers. So we're both texting like crazy,
and
talking about our past relationships and things we learned.
Yeah,
and
we got a lot. So it was every single day, realistically, from October 6th until we met at the Fruit Festival.
Yeah, so basically every day we would talk. And
morning and night. Last person I want to talk to before I go to sleep. First person I want to wake up and say good morning to,
Yeah.
And her being an hour later than me,
Right.
you were awake before.
Yeah.
But we would exchange, and we didn't start to flirt really until, there was little flirtations going on there. Maybe I don't think we did any heart emojis until probably November. Yeah, well, okay, it was October 6th, right? So it's only a month later. But still, we started to, I think it was around Thanksgiving that we started to kind of, really, connect on that deeper level where we're like, wow, this is actually this is really, really neat. And, we were sharing, we weren't, it was just sharing life experiences.
Yeah,
you were
just
sending
becoming super close.
Yeah, you were sending me pictures that you're going to be putting in your new book.
Yeah, because I was writing my new book at the time, and I was doing the cover photos, and I'm sending you.
She's like, what do you think about these 3 different photos? And I'm like, you've got to be kidding. Thinking to myself, you've got to be kidding me. She's asking me for her opinion for her book cover. Okay, this is way crazy cool. Definitely feeling like we're becoming really tight friends, for her to trust me with going, I like this cover, you know?
Yeah.
And you going, oh my gosh, that's totally the one that I would pick. And,
I think we did. I did pick the one.
I don't think that she was just saying that, you guys. I think that she was really picking the same one.
I did.
So there was a lot of different synchronicities just lining up. When we're both, going through different headspaces.
Yeah, and I was going through some stuff in my personal life too.
Yeah.
And eventually, it got to the point where I was so super stressed out just after the new year. And I was talking to a lot of friends about a lot of things that were going on in my life. And my friend Elizabeth, lovely, beautiful Elizabeth from Lava Love.
Elizabeth is awesome.
Yeah, I was using CBD oil from her to deal with a lot of the stress that I was experiencing. And so she mentioned, she was like, how about you come down and just have a relaxing holiday? We were talking about connecting, because I had known her since I started Raw, pretty much.
Wow, yeah.
Because I was in some of the forums and we would just talk, and we've been friends for a while, and I was like, this would be so cool just to go away and relax and chill. So she's like, how about we throw a fruit luck?
Yeah.
So we planned this fruit luck, and you and your mom out.
We drove up. So we're in Southern Oregon, and it's in Portland, so it's upstate. It's about 4.5 hour drive. And we were like, hey, no big deal. We know people up there too. We totally want to go, and go to this fruit luck, and of course, we'd been talking, Lissa and I.
Yeah.
So we were really excited to meet there, and that was the first time that we actually met.
In Portland.
Yep, in Portland. So the PDX area is a special
It's
spot.
Very, very special.
It's a special spot for us, for sure.
So we're just instant.
Yeah, and then at the fruit luck was amazing. Elizabeth put us up in her place, which was just a beautiful place, and it was a great weekend. And we just I invited her down. I was like, you want to come down to Southern Oregon and check it out, and
your mom is like, come down, and my place is open for you to come, just hang out. Yeah. And I was like, I'm just a paper flower in the wind. So I was like, I'm gonna go, and Elizabeth was like, go.
Yeah. And so that was our first, kind of trip together. You were down for a few days, and we really connected, and we were able to make food, and
that video is right here.
that was so fun.
Yeah.
And then from that point, we started to get really serious, you know, because we're adults, right? You guys, like, we can plan things out, we can be serious. And our situation was kind of tricky because you live in Edmonton, Canada, and I live in Southern Oregon.
Yeah.
And here we are connecting on this amazing trip, and we're thinking, oh my gosh, how are we going to see each other? Because originally, we weren't planning on meeting. We were just maybe like, oh, well, you know, it'll be cool to meet you, you know, like see you at Woodstock this
because
August.
we weren't thinking of meeting. Like, we were just like, oh, in August. We were like,
So
we'll
it's
see each
June
other at
right
Woodstock.
now. It's June right now, so we'd still have a couple months. We still weren't planning on meeting until August.
Yeah, so that would have been, you know,
So we had
almost a
met
year.
each other in February, and then that's when we started to really like be grown up about how are we going to create
How are we gonna do this?
a relationship where we can, you know, we can be together and see each other. Like, you know, it's tricky. Long distance relationships are tricky. And so we were really bouncing back and forth with the different processes that, you know, entail in a long distance relationship.
Yeah.
So
I had, for the past probably 2 years, because I split from my ex 2 years, a little bit ago.
Yeah.
So after I had split from him, I started saving a lot of money. And just, you know, every month, whatever I could put aside, I set aside. And I was doing that specifically for a rainy day or a sunshiny day. So I had a lot saved up just in case something happened or I needed something, or maybe I was going to use it for a down payment for a house or whatever, because I was single and I didn't know what I was going to do. So I wanted to make sure I had a good chunk of change, you know, saved just in case. So we started talking and we were thinking, okay, well, I can come down, you know, and
we started
visit.
to actually plan out trips. Like, okay, to get you to be an American would be the best way to go about this, because I have kids. I've got 2 boys, beautiful boys, 15 and 17, Jonah and Jacob, and I don't want to leave them.
No.
You know, we're sharing time, and so it's week on, week off, and I can't go anywhere. So you have to get here.
And you have a job.
I have a job here.
And I do YouTube and I do photography freelance. So I set my own schedule. I can do whatever I want to.
And you have your amazing books, which thank all of you people for buying her books and, you know, adding to your library of recipes for different things to create. Because you don't have to be a raw foodie to eat raw food.
Yeah, you can just get it and have raw food every once in a while. They're great meals, even.
In every
if
meal,
not.
every meal, throw some raw stuff in there, you know?
Totally.
So,
we started planning trips and we started deciding, you know, the first trip that I came down, because I only came down for a little bit of time the first time to see Elizabeth. And that was what, 11 days? I think.
Yeah,
11 days. And then
11 days.
And then I was like, that's not long enough.
So then we planned a trip in March, which March trip was epic, and I think you guys could probably watch it right here. The March trip was epic, and you came down for 2 weeks in March. And so we really started to see kind of how we flow together and how we love to inspire. Both of us are super excited. Like, I am really wanting to inspire other people because I work in the medical field and I see a lot of sick people. And understanding like how my mom healed herself and I'm seeing other people heal themselves and I'm getting healthier. It's like, oh my gosh, I want to, it's like you find you're born again in some way. You find this truth and you want to share with the world this truth that you found. So
we're snapping, we're Instagramming, we're YouTubing, we made lots of videos.
So fun. So much
I know,
fun.
and we flow so good together. Like we, you know, we just know what we need to do.
Kind of like we've known each other. We would kind of trip on that. Like, man, have we, if you believe in reincarnation, very possibly, we could have lived lifetimes together already.
Yeah, that's just what it feels like, because we just flow.
Yeah.
And even riding up here on the quad. Yeah,
we're one.
We are. We like move together, and
she hangs on really good, really tight. She screams, hoots, and hollers.
It's easy to hang on to you.
And she's not scared, so that's cool.
And that was my first quad ride the last time.
Because I've been riding my whole life. Not that I don't have respect for it, you know, like saying, "Oh, I've been riding my whole life," but you know, I
I love riding and I know how to ride. And so I like to kind of get it sometimes, get a little hardcore throttle on there. And she is just a rock star. I'm like, I've never rode with someone who is as much fun as like, I mean, I can't even tell she's really there besides her screaming. So, and that's awesome.
Yeah. So we just flow really well. And then trip.
We planned another trip.
Yeah. And I would go back to Canada and I would say,
so many more days.
We would count down the days and then we would always say, tomorrow, we can say tomorrow.
Yeah.
When I was getting close to a trip. But also I was started to, even just after that second trip, it was feeling more like this is home.
Here.
Yeah. This is home.
Yeah.
And I started to think of Canada as like a business trip.
Yep. And that's what I was having to play in my head too. Like, all right, cool, you're just going to work. You're going on a work trip.
Yeah.
You know, that's what long distance is. I mean, there's people who we would talk about, people who are in the military, you know, where they're gone. Sometimes they're not able to see their significant other for a year or even more. So we just had to be really focused with, I mean, it's only a few weeks because we were planning you having saved up and living the lifestyle that you live, you're able to come here. So we saved some time, you know, or
being able to see each other as much as we have has been a complete blessing. I just am so blown away that I've been able to come here as much as I have.
So then we had the April trip.
Ooh, the April trip.
The April trip, which was epic, and you guys could probably watch it like right here. The April trip, and that's we took our trips. Of course, so we're not seeing each other for very much. You know, we only have a little bit of time. So that's when we're like, let's plan these epic adventures together. You know, to spend as much time as we can. I want to show her as much as I can around here. Try to organize her, right? You know, make her an organ transplant, which I'm an organ transplant. I was born in California. So now we're on this trip. So it's been February, March, April, right? May, June.
Yeah.
So this is our 4th time getting together, you guys.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of footage. We've had a lot of fun. We've brought you guys along on these trips. I mean, it's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
So blessed.
Yeah. We are so blessed. And love all you guys for all your support.
Yeah, thank you so much for all your support.
Yeah, just happy, good wishes and blessings. Like, it means a lot.
And we love inspiring that true love exists.
Yeah, it really does. Because honestly, like, I mean, you just don't, you know, it's hard to turn it down when you really feel it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So
what's next?
For the future, it's my turn. I'm going to come up and visit you.
Yes.
In Canada.
So he's going to come to Canada and he's going to stay with me in Chai Chai.
Yeah, Chai Chai.
Chai Chai.
And then we have the Woodstock Fruit Festival.
Yes, Woodstock Fruit Festival. And we have some other trips planned, but we're not going to tell you guys yet.
Can't tell you yet. We
because you're going to see it on our Snapchat and our Instagram. So yeah, we're just going to save a little bit for you as surprises.
That's right.